Studio Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. This is a women's basketball update with Brandon Chapman. I'm Jenny Carlson. Brandon, big Bedlam game over the weekend. Oklahoma State. Oklahoma comes out the victor. Where does this leave Oklahoma State as they look ahead to what's left on their season schedule?
Well, obviously that was a tough game to lose Bedlam at home, but that was a game that came after going to Texas A&M and getting a victory and then going up to Nebraska and taking a loss. So that was 3 games in 6 days. It was a tough stretch for OSU. Now they get a little bit of time to regroup. They don't play on Wednesday. The next game is Saturday against Texas Tech. So they have a little bit of time to regroup, kind of lick your wounds and move forward from here.
Yeah, and from Oklahoma's perspective, now Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are both 6-3, and both in great shape in the conference. I mean, when you look at how tough this conference is, you talk about Oklahoma State's 3-game stretch. Everybody's got that stretch during the season at some point. So I think for both of these teams through 9 games to be at 6-3, they're in good shape. They're in great shape to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And we see now that the strengths of these two teams comes from their point guard. We knew that before. You wrote a little bit about that before the game, but really interesting to see Daniel Robinson, Andrea Riley out there. It's a great debate of who is the best of these two. I know Robinson got the better of the matchup on Saturday, but what's your feeling about these 2 point guards and maybe who's got the advantage right now?
I still kind of lean to the edge a little bit for Andrea Riley just because everything she's been able to do for this team. OSU was not expected to be a great team this year. They came out and especially her leadership, kind of getting the younger players, all those newcomers they have up in Stillwater playing at a good pace, and to have them where they're at right now, I think kind of speaks volumes to Andrea Riley's leadership. But at the same time, if you look at what Robinson did on Saturday, I mean, it was clear she was kind of making a statement and sending a message as far as the point guards in the Big 12.
Hey, if Robinson gets to the hole, there's not too much anybody can do to stop her from scoring. That is dangerous. And Oklahoma State did a lot to try to stop her. They used a lot of different defenses. Man-to-man, used zones, used a lot of things to try to slow that down, and yet Robinson still got to the hole against a very athletic Oklahoma State team. I think that speaks volumes to her skills. I'm like Brandon, though. I'm going to lean a little bit towards Andrea Riley, and here's why. I think Daniel Robinson, once she develops a little more of an outside shot, extends that range a little bit more and becomes even more unguardable, I think that's where I would give her that edge over Andrea Riley. But right now, Riley's got that range and the ability to get to the hole. I still think I go with Andrea Riley. Let's talk a little bit about what's up next for these two teams. As you look ahead for Oklahoma State, what's on the horizon for the Cowgirls?
Well, for the Cowgirls, they have Texas Tech coming in on Saturday. Obviously, that's a game you really need to win. You still feel pretty good about where you're at in the Big 12 right now, even though you just took a loss to Nebraska, a loss to Oklahoma. You still feel pretty good with where you are standings-wise, but you have to get back on track, and you do that by winning against Texas Tech on Saturday.
I tell you, the tough stretch that Oklahoma State had last week is now Oklahoma's challenge. They have a very tough stretch ahead with home games. They're all home games, though, which is to their benefit. Home games this week against Baylor on Wednesday, then a Saturday home game against Colorado, which should be a win for OU, I think the most winnable of the 3. And then the third, a big Monday showdown against UConn. Obviously, a really tough stretch of games for Oklahoma. If they can win 2 of 3, I think they've got to feel pretty good. And if they sweep all 3 of those, well, we've got the story of the year on our hands because UConn hasn't lost in forever. So we'll see how that goes. Stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.